Simen Chav, Sif Tes Vav, Shir 17. So before we go into the next couple of Seifim, I think we can go a little backwards here, but I think it's Kedai to see a Taz. Taz and Sif Yud Ches. The Taz in Sif Kat Yud Beis. We're not going to start at the beginning, we'll start in the middle. The Taz says Haran v'shar Poiskin.
Sorry, just repeat that where?
The Taz, I mean, Sif Kat Yud Beis. If you look in the Taz, the middle,
small.
It's towards the beginning, it says Haran v'shar Poiskin Biaru.
In the Netherlands. Like 7, 8,
in the new,
9.
That's in the old Shulchan Aruch.
Go down and see on.
You see it? Harav v'shar Poiskin Biaru?
Yeah.
It's Yud Beis?
Taz Sif Kat Yud Beis.
How many lines?
I don't have the. You have the new ones and the old ones.
7, 8, 9, 10. What are the small lines?
11 lines altogether.
Okay.
And what's the first word?
Haran. Ma. The first word in the line is ma.
432 words from the beginning of the sentence.
You have it?
No.
It says mash and nisbat and then a dot.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. This should have been the Haftarah to the whole Tezvav.
To the Tezvav.
The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, this is.
It always brings it up here.
The Taz. Yes, then the Taz brings it up. We never spoke about this whole Siman. We spoke about Schita. We spoke about Schita's parents squeezing out a pre for the juice. In Siman Shin Beis, there's a whole different Schita, and that Schita is a Schita of Libun. Schita of where you squeeze out a cloth, so you'd be malabin that you're cleaning it. It's a whole different Issa of Libun. So till now we only spoke about fruits and vegetables, and therefore we only spoke about the Schita of Mefarek. The Schita Mefarek is squeezing out something to get out the juice because you want to use it. The Schita of Libun is a whole different Schita. When it comes time to clothing, so Libun is you're cleaning it. You don't need the water you're squeezing out. You're cleaning the clothing by squeezing out the water. So that's what the Taz says over here. Haran v'shar Poiskim Biaru. The Haran and the other Poiskim explained, yes, beis minei schita. There's two types of schita. Ha'echad, hu mishum da'avatolda, the mechabes. One is, it's a tolda, it's an offshoot of mechabes. Mechabes means to clean. Tahainu malabein, just cleaning, making it white, means to clean it. Shemhachi ein isser el b'mayim. Therefore, that type of schita is only also with water, avalei b'shar mashkin, not with any other liquids. So it means if you have a cloth and you want to clean it, you soak it in water. You're going to soak it in juice, you're not going to clean it. So, mechabes, the schita of mechabes or malabein will not apply when you have a cloth soaked up with juices, shamashkin, only by water.
He's asking this from the halacha because in the Gemara and the Rishonim, there are koshes for
schita b'shamashkin. It's machlokes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's saying he's.
So that's what it says here. Linya halacha pasuk atur b'shulchan aruch siman shin yotes to yayin havik b'shamashkin. Yayin, wine, for some reason has a din like shamashkin. And it's shaykh the schita of malabein even by yayin. So far all we have now is water and yayin. So it comes time for squeezing anything from let's say cleaning up a spill, a shmata. If it's not yayin or it's not mayim, then there's nothing to worry about. There's no problem of schita at all. Because there's no schita mefarik there.
Miragline, it's not like mine?
No.
No?
So far we see that. The only schita is shaykh is yayin and mayim.
So what do you have with the?
He's saying yayin is like
mostly water. Let's say you have a thing of Coke.
Sorry, yayin shamash. Sorry. I would jump that mistake. Yeah. Yayin shamash. That's not shaykh schita, only on water.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens if you have a product you have Coke, which is like 90% water?
Oh.
That would just be. It's pure water we're talking about.
No, it's not kibbutz. Only pure water. If you have something that has water and has sugar inside, you don't use it for kibbutz.
On your shirt.
A coffee, even though it's mainly water, it's not called kibbutz because it makes it dirtier. Kibbutz is only if you're going to use something that cleans it. Anything that's not a cleansing thing, you can't clean with it, is not called the schita of mechabes, or malabim. So in Shulchan Aruch Pasuk is yayin v'shar mashkin. El dekan kosev esese b'shem aran the yayin malabim. The yayin is malabim, so it isn't issa to squeeze out wine because of malabim. And earlier the chalak says it has to be yayin lavoin mechabes k'moy mayim. White wine is mechabes like water, but yayin edom, red wine ain't mechabes. Adanab ma'adam beged, it makes the beged red, and therefore there wouldn't be any issue of kibbutz on yayin edom. So that's one schita. It's a schita of kibbutz, which is in Shin Beis mainly. We have a little bit over here. When you're squeezing out a beged, clothing, because you're cleaning it. That's one issue of kibbutz, of schita.
And when you're saying kibbutz is schita, you're saying libun, really?
Libun, yeah, libun is kibbutz. There's another type of schita which we have told now, which was a told of dash, u'mefarek, ve'ein iser ella b'nichalei. This is only b'nichalei, when you need the water that comes out. That schita is for the juice. If I don't need the juice, then it's not really a schita. Ella b'nichalei v'may denafik b'nei, v'may b'dash u'mefarek. Which is a Sifrit Ches, we'll see, when you're squeezing it out and you don't need the water, the juice that's coming out, then even loy nichalei, it could be called a schita. So we'll get into that in Sifrit Ches, if it's nichalei, or loy nichalei, if it's an issa d'Rabbanan or not. But that schita is a schita of squeezing out the juices, because you want the juice. Shemachi Im nishbach shecher leisha mashkin she'eino melabnin ala mappa. If a shecher beer or other mashkin spill on a mappa, on a tablecloth, shal shulchan, for roitzel and akoisei, want to clean it off a kapanim, la yishev misham teich kaf. Echad v'lishbach l'chutz. Don't take a spoon and squeeze it out and throw it out. The afagav sh'lechenu le'ibud l'kamokim kan b'shashu shoyev teich kaf. When you're putting it into the spoon, you're taking out the juices from a tablecloth. It's a tolda of mefarek. This is not kibbutz, libun. This is mefarek. Take a spoon and scratch off from a tablecloth the juices that spilled in it. Then you're doing an issa of mefarek, not an issa of malabi.
Because you want the juice. Because you're showing you want the juice by putting in the cup.
So that's a question of nichalei le nichalei. So let's say it shows that you want the juice and you're putting it in the spoon, even though a second later you're throwing it out. But while you're taking it, you're showing that you're using the juices. That is mefarek.
So it has to be continuous. If you were to wring it out
into the sink, over the toilet.
Yeah, so that's the question. So we'll get to that. We'll get to all that. If you squeeze it out where it's going to ibud right away.
Directly.
Yeah, so that will speak. Let's see if it's
mefarek leibud.
Mefarek l'ibud is not mefarek. Yeah, so we'll get to that sifrit ches. So maybe mefarek l'ibud is not called mefarek at all. This is all the mefarek that are needed for the juices. But in the first part of libun, if you're squeezing out a cloth from the water is going to ibud, it makes no difference.
You still have
because there the issue is taking the water out of the cloth because of libun.
Right.
By the issue schita of mefarek, the issue is taking out the juice. So you don't need the juice. That's maybe mutter. But by melabein, the issue is not taking the water out because of the water. The issue is to cleanse the cloth. And by taking out the water, we don't care where the water is going. It's an issue of melabein. Those are the two types of schitas that the Taz brings down. If you look in the Bir Halacha, it's also good that you see this also. If you look in the Bir Halacha on Sif Yud Ches, it's page Kuf Mem Vav in the Mishnah. The Bir Halacha on Sif Yud Ches, the B'Maschal Yesh Misha Matir. It's on Kuf Mem Vav Amar Aleph.
Yesh mi shamati.
Living a maskal Yesh mi shamati.
Yeah.
So it says also a similar Akdama, because I see it inside beer, Ha'inyan B'Ktsara Ki Yidua Dasa Be'atam V'Siyaitai, Yeshnei Inyane Schita. There's two types of Schita. Hainu Schita Mimayim, squeezing out water, Yisura Misham Libun. That's an issue of Libun, of cleaning. V'lei Misham Dosh. Kemayim Hacham Le'ibud. There the water is going to Le'ibud, it's going to the garbage. So there it's not an issue of Mefarik, Dosh. There it's an issue of Malabein. V'lei Dami L'Dosh. U'b'shar Mashkin V'huay Hepach. By other Mashkin, it's the opposite. Misham Libun Ein Ba. There's no Libun because you're not washing the clothing. The Ein Malavnin Ba. Elisura Ho Misham Dosh. Dumi D'Seichet Zeise V'Anavim. Ach, but Dafku Shetzarech L'Mashkin on Ischat. Dumi D'Disha. That's only when you need the mashkin, like disha. And then it goes in the Sifrit Ches, we'll get to the rest later. So those are two types of schitas. And the next couple of Sifrit will be dealing with those two types of schitas.
Rabbi, in the next line of the Taz, where you stop, there's a phrase I never understood. Go on a little bit.
Tanglish Lechem Le'ibn Chamakim Kamer Shashmo Shei Tzech Kaf Eis Issa Gomer Tol Nefag V'zeh HaKol Moedim L'Issa V'la Yoyel Mash Yishbach Acha Kacha Kaf Kachot V'zeh Mu'uvetz L'Yuchel Liskoin.
That phrase.
Mu'uvetz means it's an Avera.
It's a pasuk.
It's a pasuk in Mishlei.
The pasuk in Kohelet.
Yeah, but it's brought
Mu'uvetz means you did something wrong, L'Yuchel Liskoin, you can't fix it anymore. It's done.
down in the Mishnah by
Put down in
you
Mishnah.
steal a beam and
Yeah. Mu'uvetz L'Yuchel Liskoin.
Or if you're over on a riot.
Mama says it's called Mu'uvetz L'Yuchel Liskoin, yeah. Something you can't fix.
Over in a riot.
Yeah. So here also, you're taking in the spoon,
Right.
and then you're throwing it out. It's too late already. It's done. Once you put it in the spoon,
But once it's there, it's there.
once it's in the spoon, you did the isser.
it's for phone.
You throw it into the garbage now. It's not called evil.
Yeah, it's for phone.
Yeah, fafal. That's what it is. Fine. So let's see the sifra now. Sif says vav. Also, lifra is sudded up here. Chavi is not allowed to spread out. A sudded, that's a sudded in English. A napkin or handkerchief, whatever it is, over a chavis, over a barrel, v'litin al gabav akli shedoyle boy, to put on top of it the kli that you take the water out of that you draw the water from the well. Shemayavel de schita, because you may come with the schita. So what happens is you have a chavis, you put a sudar on top of it, you take a thing full of water, put it on top of the sudar. What may happen is the water is going to spill on the sudar, and you're going to squeeze it out to take out the water. So you can't put that bucket on top of sudar because you may end up squeezing it out. But a beggar that's meant for it, you could put on top of it, because that beggar you're not going to squeeze out. So you want to take your shirt or something you use all the time and spread it on top of the chavias and put the bucket on top of it, it may spill on it. That's a problem, because you may end up taking it and squeezing it because you want to use it. But if the sudar that's meant for it, it's always on top of the chavis, so you don't care if it's wet, then there's no problem of schita. Now, this is more in Shin Beis. This is a klal, that's something that you're not makbid on. For water being in there, there's no problem of schita. So if you have a shmata, you have a towel that you want to clean up something with, you could use it, even though it's going to get full of water, because you're not chayshish, you go squeeze it out, because that's what it's meant for. It gets wet, you put it into the laundry and you wash it. Something that's not meant to get wet, you want to use your shirt, or something that's not meant for it, there is a chash of schita. That's Sif Tezvav, and this schita is obviously the schita of libun. We don't care if the water doesn't go to ibud. This schita is a schita of libun. You just squeeze it out, you're going to be over because of malabin. So that's what the Mishmur speaks out over here. Sifchat Mem Beis, l'dei schita sheyischait hasudim in hamayim shenivlu boy ha'idei akli v'seichit beged chayiv mishum malabein. Seichit beged is chayiv mishum malabein because of cleaning. When we learn Shin Beis, we'll see there's another whole, there's a sugya by malabein that a lot of Rishonim hold something called Shriyasai, Zehu Kibusai.
We saw the Magen Avraham already.
You've seen the Magen, yeah, it's brought down. Yeah, Shriyasai, Zehu Kibusai. Which means is, when you come to clean a beged, you don't have to wait till you squeeze it out to be over on libun. Once it's soaked in water, even though you didn't squeeze it out, right away, you're chayav because of libun. Without squeezing it out.
You clean the beged.
The beged. Not because of Xera. That is the kibbutz. Part of kibbutz is soaking up the beged in water. So even though you didn't squeeze it out, you're over mishum mechabes. Mishum libun.
You could have twice in it?
No, you can't be mechav twice. But you don't have to wait to squeeze it out. So they ask, well, this leaf over here, that it says, Gzeira, B'choshesh, you squeeze it out. Why Choshesh is going to squeeze it out? B'choshesh is going to spill onto the beged, and Shriyas is Zehu Kibusai. And Michel, we'll see more about this when we get to Shin Beis.
The same kasha of Yud Aleph. The Magen Avraham Yud Aleph asked the same.
Yeah.
What about he gave their answer that it's kibbutz.
Yeah.
It's not Shema Yitzchak, but it's kibbutz.
Yeah.
Which is different than the Labein.
Yeah, so we'll get
The difference between Lipa and Shema Yitzchak, kibbutz is.
We'll get to Michel and Shin Beis.
Just back to Manny's question. So is Libun a different holder than
no, it's the same thing. Mechabes is because yes.
Yeah. So then you could be over twice.
No, but here when you're squeezing out the water, there's no mefarek.
And that's with the water.
Yeah, that's what the water.
Yeah.
Squeezing out water from a beggar is not mefarek.
Yeah.
Right, but if you wanted the water, you'd be over.
Yeah, if you wanted the water.
Yeah, then you have
If you want to drink the water, it could be now you're over, that's mefarek. Could be. Yeah. So that's if there's vav. So using a beggar that's meant for absorbing water, there's no kshat shama yischot. Sif tezayin, also the hadik muchim pipach. You know, put muchin is like also like shmatas or something. Not a sponge. Muchin is not a sponge. That's foil.
What about Mishum Oil? There's no oil.
Oh, so oil which Mishel says, but not worry about oil. There's not a tefach there. That's in a kshash. So Mishel speaks out over here. It's if there's vav that there's no kshash of oil. It's better than a sudar where there's no kshash of oil. But muchin is not a sponge. Muchin is
It's cotton wool, is what it calls it.
it's cloth. Yeah, it's like shmatas. Yeah, like shmatas. Any type of clothing you use for lahadik muchin to put muchin to the top of a pach of a jug. Sheesh by mashkin mishum schita. It's also because of schita. The question what this means. What does it mean mishum schita here? Which schita are we talking about?
It will probably soak water into it.
Oh, so let's see. So the Magen Avraham doesn't say much here. Mishum schita, pirish, kishim mahadik, v'ulach, v'nischat. So which schita are we talking about? It doesn't say. Spiro speaks it out, I think. Spiro says receive cotton mem dalit.
I think the Magen Avraham is telling you what it is.
Why?
The problem is that it's dry. So if it, see, he says no, it's wet. So now that it's wet, what else are you doing with it? There's no lipa.
It's wet. So it can be both. It can be also al schita of lipa. If it's shamash, it can be also al schita of mefarek.
Right. Right. Okay.
You're not saying what it is. Saying it's wet. It's dry. There's no schita at all.
Correct.
So Mishmur speaks it out over here. Siv kol mem dal lahadik u'maylik shem lachim min amash k'shabatei chakli v'afilu hem asum l'kach nami aser. Even though the muchin is meant for it, it's still also because here is no gzeira of schita. So the mehidik hamuchin b'tech pi apach bolid is schita. So it told us libun. It's a vadai. It's not a gzeira here. Here when you're squeezing it in, it's automatically going to squeeze out. So it's not a gzeira shem yishchot. So even if it's meant for it, it's still also. When it's meant for it, there's no gzeira shem yishchot. But if you're doing a vadai schita, even though it's meant for it, it's also. And that's libun. So here, maybe we're talking about shamashkin, not water. Maybe it says no malabein. And it goes into the jug. So here, we're talking about squeezing the muchin into the top of the jug. If it's mayim, just the fact that he's squeezing it, the water is coming out, it's also because of libun. But if it's shar mashkin, so shar mashkin is only also why? Because here it's stripping into the pach, and now you're taking in the sham mashkin, and it's also because of a regular dash. Fine, Sif Yudzayin. Svoig, Emekan Chimboy, a sponge. You cannot use it to wipe up. Elam Kem Yesh Beis Achidza. Unless it has a handle. Why? Gzeir Shem Yischot.
Yeah, because if you press it, it will be...
So it's Gzeir Shem Yischot. So here, let us speak out first what we're talking about over here. Svoig is Machlokes in the Rishonim. Rashi, the Rambam, most of the Rishonim learn that a svoig is a sponge. And the problem with it is if you're using it to wipe something up, your vada is squeezing out. If you're sure going to end up squeezing out of the sponge, if you're sure squeezing out, it's also because of schita.
Right, because the very act of holding on, you're wiping up,
yeah,
you're
squeezing it, and something's coming out. That is schita. Now, if it has a beis achiza, if it has a handle, so you're not holding the sponge itself. Rashi and the Rambam say the reason why it's mutter with the beis achiza is because it's not for sure that you're going to come the day schita. If you're holding it in your hands, you're sure going to come the day schita. If you have a beis achiza, you have a handle, and you're wiping it using the handle to wipe it up. It's not for sure going to come with a schita, and therefore, even though it comes with a schita, it's mutter because it's ain't of its coming. So it's a situation.
Here by a spoke without a handle, are we being mechalik here also with mayim and shamashkim?
So we'll see in a second.
And
no, if it's vada squeezing out, then it's also. If it's mayim,
even if it's mayim, and
if it's mayim, it's
going to lead to.
If it's mayim, it's libun.
Right.
And if it's shamashkim,
why is it libun if it's mayim?
So you clean out the sponge. The sponge is being cleaned. It's water.
So what if it's shamashkim?
Shamashkim has to be either it's if it's talking with ibud, it holds also with the rabban. We'll see later on. But even though shamashkim, we'll see in Sif Yud Ches, shamashkim, and you're squeezing it out, and it's going with the ibud, it's still an issa de rabban. Still issa de rabban. It's not for sure mutter. So even though it's shamashkin, it's still also to use this way. In a case where it's vadai, going to come out, it's also to use this way. So that's the Rashi and the Rambam. The Rabbi says that even with the beis achiza, it's for sure going to come out. Even with the beis achiza, it's for sure, it's a vadai going to come out. So what's the heter? So the Rabbi gives a heter when you have a beis achiza, it's not schita at all. It's not called schita. It's like pouring out of a cup. That's the Rabbi's heter.
What does that mean
like
exactly?
Redefine the chli, something else.
Yeah, so exactly what I mean. It's the Rabbi. It's a shver Rabbi. To be honest with you, Chazanish tries to explain the Rabbi. They said that schita is only when I'm doing the actual squeezing, but when I have a handle, I'm not squeezing it myself. It's something else. It's like I'm pouring out of a cup or a straw. So it's not schita. Whatever that means. I'm not saying I have a good explanation.
No, but just even to understand it, like if you have it in a bowl and you pour it out, I mean, nobody said that's chita. That's
right.
Nobody's going to come to that.
Correct.
So what's the Rabbi talking about? He's saying that the analogy is that if you have a beis achiza,
it's like a kli.
That's what it is.
It's like a kli. Yeah.
It's not mefarek.
It's nothing.
It's mutter for a different reason. He's agreeing to Rashi in the sense that it's mutter. For a different reason.
For a different reason, yeah. Not because it's not psikreisha, because it's not, even though you for sure it's going to happen. Because it's not called mefarek. It's not called lipa. It's not called mefarek. It's not called schita. You're not squeezing it out.
Just because it has a handle.
That's because it has a handle. Yeah. Yeah, the Rabbi is a little hard to understand. I agree.
Because it makes a difference in terms of understanding the halakha. In other words, is he saying that because it has no absorbent qualities to it?
No.
It itself is like a tzlach, it's like a plate. A plate doesn't absorb.
No, okay. The Rabbi is the opposite. He holds that by his soy. No matter what, if it's sure going to come with a schita. Even with the beis achiza. Yeah, for sure will come with a schita. So he's bothered. So what's going to help your handle?
Right.
So he says the handle is not called schita at all. Even though you're doing a schita, it's not the meiser schita. That's awesome. That's what you have to understand the Rabbi. Even though if you're sure doing a schita, it's not called schita. With a handle, it's not called a schita. That's what you have to understand, the Rabbi. Exactly why it's hard to understand.
Okay, I don't get it.
I'm not doing the malach of schita. The malach of schita is when you hold it in your hand and you squeeze out.
B'yadayim.
B'yadayim. But if I have a handle and I'm squeezing, it's not called the ma'aseh of schita.
There's this whole issue of a leather handle versus a stick handle.
Yeah.
What's a leather handle? I don't even know what they're talking about.
I guess the old days they had a handle that was
Instead of a plastic or a wood.
Instead of plastic, yeah. It had a,
But why would
We were thinking that
why would
leather
someone
is
fit it with
different
leather but
because
not with a
soft.
stick?
We were thinking the leather
No, same thing.
is pliable and it has bendability when you
So
put it
it's-
down and you can
Right.
handle.
It's like a wire, it's like a wire, you know what I mean? You bend it and it's wood.
When you touch
There's
the
a greater
handle,
likelihood.
it's like squeezing the
Thing
thing.
itself.
That's why there's a difference.
Leather, you
With
just
leather, if
dragging
you
it.
push down with a
Uh-huh.
leather handle, the sponge might not squeeze. It's not a vada that you're going to squeeze.
but
it
a
with leather.
strong handle will for sure.
Yeah, with a metal handle or a
Yeah.
plastic wheel.
Okay, it could be.
It could be different.
I don't know. In the Ma'aseh we don't go with the rabbis. So even though you have a handle, if it's vada schita, there's no matter. No matter what it is, wood and leather doesn't make a difference. If it's a stronger color than schita, we hope that's awesome.
Even with the handle.
Even with the handle, we don't go with the rabbi. We're machmir like the Rashi and the Rambam. That if it's vada schita, it's awesome. If it's not vada schita, then it's mutter. So if you have a sponge that's not vada that it's going to squeeze out, you're not going to use it. You have a shmata, you want to use a shmata to clean something up. It's not vada that it's going to squeeze out, it's mutter.
So often when people want to clean the floor,
Right.
they have like a long, like a mop.
Right.
That has a sponge at the end of it.
The bottom.
So, yeah, or a shmata sometimes.
Well, it's shmata. So it depends. If it's vada schita, it's a problem.
So would like, okay, so you're just normally using it. You're not going to squeeze it out.
Not for sure you can squeeze it out. The fact that it's wet and the floor gets wet from it doesn't mean you're squeezing it.
Right.
You're trying to
absorb the...
You're
Yeah.
starting with a dry sponge or a dry towel on a sponge.
No, it's not even if it's wet, you want to clean the floor.
No,
You make it wet.
Let's say you have still on the floor. Can you take a mop and just...
Yeah, you can absorb it. Yeah, for sure.
As long as you don't...
As long as you don't
Those
squeeze it.
Lysol wet wipes or baby wet wipes.
So we'll get to that. That's a whole different challenge. Because then you want the water out.
Yeah.
The case they're talking about is you want the water in the mouth. Here you want the water out. So that's a problem.
It's not us if you're simply absorbing. Like if you put a towel on it and it just doesn't...
No, that's not a problem. You put a towel to absorb is not a problem.
Even if it was water?
Even if it's water. So water is a different problem. When I spoke out, Shriyot is Yal Kibbusoi.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the question. If it's water on the floor, that's called kibbutz. We'll see when we get to Shin Beis. Napkins and those type of things that are disposables, there's no problem of kibbutz. Because you're not washing it. It's not meant to be washed.
Kibbutz, you want it to be laundered.
Right.
So when you throw, if a bucket of water spills on your floor, and you go and take your new fresh towel and you put it down on it, I don't know, in my house my wife would say, out.
Yeah,
that's not how we clean a towel.
Yeah, right. So we'll see what we get in Shin Beis. If you worry about schita, the Lipa of schita is not a problem, because it's not doing schita. If you worry about shriyasa zeh kibusai, just absorbing it is already kibbutz. We'll see in Shin Beis it could be derech lichluch as mutter. Derech lichluch means if I'm doing it in a way of making it dirtier, I have a clean towel. I'm absorbing water from the floor. That's called derech lichluch. I'm not cleaning it. I'm making it dirty by taking up the water. Then I have to go clean it afterwards.
Schita either?
No, so schita we're not worried about. So in that case, there's no problem with schita. Because you're not going to absorb it enough that there'll be schita. But the problem is maybe shriyos is der kibusai. We'll see in Shin Beis derech lichloch maybe yet. If you're doing it in a way where you're dirtying the towel, then it's mutter.
Showing that it's not.
Yeah. That's the thing. All these halachas of shriyos is der kibusai will have to leave for Shin Beis.
What does that mean exactly?
But shriyos is der kibusai means just soaking up the water.
Soaking it up.
Is already kibbutz. Is already cleaning. Without squeezing it.
Right.
Without squeezing, just absorbing it is already kibbutz. So we're not getting involved with shriyos zeh kibbutz. This we'll get to in Shin Beis. So here, this sponge that's absorbing. So let's see the Morgan Avram. So the way we just explained, if it doesn't have a Beis Achiza, why is it also? According to Rashi and the Rambam, not a Gzeir Shem Yischait. it's a vaday schita. We have a beis achiza, it's maybe second, maybe not. Without a beis achiza, it's also why, because it's vaday, you're squeezing it out. So that's what the Magen Avram's kasha is. Gzeir Shem Yischot, Tzarech Kima the Svay also the Kach, Lamali the Migdash Shem Yischot. His question is, we had at Sif Tezvav, that a beggar that's meant to absorb water, there's no Gzeir Shem Yischot. So a Svay is meant to absorb water. So question 1, what's a Gzeir Shem Yischot? Question comes Sif Tezvav, Simishin Aleph. Sif Mem Aleph. For Oid Tema, the Gemara Parach HaSvoi, for Kaimel Kev Shimon, Damash Em Escham and Mutim. Or Mashane Psik Reishu, the more answers of Psik Reishu. Im Kain, Ein Atamashim Gzeira. The reason is not because of Gzeira Shem Yischot, the reason is because of Vadai Yischot. If you're sure going to squeeze it out. The Tzarech Iyun. Says the Magen Avram, has the Tzarech Iyun on the Shulchan Aruch, why Shulchan Aruch says that without a Beis Yad, it's a Gzeira Shem Yischot. It's not a Gzeira, it's a Vadai Schita. So if you look at the Bir Agra, he changes the gears in the Shulchan Aruch. The Bir Agra at Sif Yud Zayin, Gzeira. Is it? Tar Sefer. You have the Bir Agra? But Tzarech Loimer Mishum Schita. It's a mistake. I don't say Gzeira Shem Yischot. What it means is it's also because of Schita. Yeah, the Mishnah brings it down also. I'll say in a second. Now to the Magen Avram. Barambam v'Rashi kasu d'chshies lebeis achiza oz efshe beloy schita. When you have a beis achiza, the heter is because it's possible that you won't do schita. L'rayvet kasav to the oilam I efshe l'kinuach beloy schita. It's never possible to wipe up without schita. L'kimin shies lebeis achiza af apisha seichit, even though it's for sure schita. Havalei kameirik mitzleichis mayim. It's like you're pouring out of a jug of water. Ad kam l'shayne v'tzarech iyun the day, kiven the after l'kinuach v'lo schita, lama hitiroi l'kaneach ba'aluntis. Aluntis is a towel. We had this once before. Remember, we had a machlokes ba'aluntis. So said somebody else.
Oh, and by people coming out from.
We did it by Hatmana.
Aluntis, it was 10 people coming out.
One towel, yeah. For sure,
talking about by Hatmana.
So we had a shadow of Aluntis was and we checked it out.
Right, so it was whether it was something that wrapped around for Hatmana personally, right?
Or someone said Aluntis was sometimes a drink or something. No, but it's okay, but Aluntis is a towel. So that's the way he explains the Ravid. The Ravid says when you do kinuach, it's impossible without schita. Says the Magen Avram, so why is aluntis? Why is it mutter to wipe it with a towel? You're showing them the schita. So he says maybe only a svoig, the Ravid means is impossible without schita. But a towel is possible without schita.
So you wouldn't have to change the lashon then?
No, the lashon answer anyway. Without a beis achiza, it's also. Why? Because you can do schita. In the Ravid, the heter beis achiza is because even though you do a schita, it's mutter. By aluntis, it's something else. Aluntis is not for sure you're going to do schita. Here we're not talking about aluntis. Here we're talking about a spoig.
Oh, okay. So it's spoig.
Yeah. So the Mishnah brings down the Ravid and the Rambam. He's not machriya. He doesn't say anything in the Mishnah Berurah. So we're machmir. We don't go with the Ravid. Yeah, we don't go with the Ravid. We don't rely on the Ravid when you have a beis achiza, it's mutter. Even though you have a beis achiza, it's still awesome mishum schita.
Why can't you learn that the Shulchan Aruch is talking about when it says spug and makanfim bo, it's talking about a completely dry spug. That when you are makanet with it, you're not going to squeeze for sure. That spug. But there's a gzeira that you can't use it in that situation because you might come to squeeze a spug in order to clean it.
No, but the Gemara says, because the Magen Avram's kasha, the Gemara says svoig is aser because the vada going to do schita. Why? Because when you're pushing it down, you're wiping it up. It's wet. It's automatically gonna. When you're absorbing water, also if you just put it down there.
I'm talking about a completely dry spug also.
Yeah. If you just put it down to absorb like a towel.
That's not true. If you have a small little spill and a completely dry spug, you put it on.
No, so you're talking about something else. That's not the sif. You're talking about, I want to absorb a spill.
Yeah.
That's not what he's talking about. Mekach means to clean.
Oh, I see.
You're using something to clean. You can use a sponge to clean. It's impossible. You're not going to do schita. Right?
Okay.
You're talking about you want to absorb a spill. That's a whole different halacha. You want to use a sponge to absorb a spill. It's mutter l'chatchila, no problem. Maybe it absorbs a lot when you pick it up. You may end up squeezing. That could be an issue. But it's absorbing itself is not a problem. Here it's about mekanchin. You're cleaning something.
So if you're mekaneach here, it must be that it's nichale.
You want the water out, yeah.
You want the water.
Yeah.
So it's not that maybe it will, maybe it won't.
No, but
you actually want it.
but
Why would it be?
No, but the thing is, when you have a sponge and it's wet, it's not after you squeeze out water. When you wipe something with a sponge, right? And you have to has a handle, right? You wipe it with a sponge.
If it's wet and the counter is dry, then it came out from the sponge.
But it doesn't mean you squeeze it. You take a wet sponge and you put it down without squeezing it. Take a wet sponge, put it down the counter without squeezing it. The counter will get wet, right? Even without squeezing it. Take a wet paper towel, put it down the counter without squeezing it. It's going to get wet.
But
Because there's some water on top that will make the counter wet. If you're holding it and you're wiping with it, then not because you want the water out. Holding it and wiping with it, you're automatically going to squeeze the sponge and water is going to come out. To take a wet shmata and put it on a counter is not schita.
Even if you move it around.
Oh, that's mekanchin, boy.
That's mekanchin.
Yeah, that's mekanchin. But because that's impossible without doing schita. But not because it got wet. You don't need the water that's coming out when you're squeezing it. When you're holding it and you're wiping it, you don't need that water coming out. You have enough water already on the counter without it. Right? That's the question. That's the whole question with the baby wipes. Right? That's the whole question. I think the Chief is speaking about the baby wipes. What's the shot with the baby wipes? A lot of places can hold. You don't need to go ahead and squeeze out the baby wipe to make it to wipe. There's some wetness on top of it. And that wetness is enough to clean. The problem is you want to squeeze out more water besides the wetness that's on top. A svoig, where there's no handle, automatically when you're using it, you're going to squeeze out more water. That's the problem.
So in a baby wipe, is there more water, or can you also use the same logic that says that you're just putting it on top and whatever is wet is getting some of the
you could say that. But the problem is it's a svoig, and when you're holding it, you're automatically going to squeeze it out.
There's no handle.
There's no handle. By holding it, you're squeezing it out. That's the problem with the svoig. By holding it, it's automatically squeezing out. When you're grabbing it to hold it, you're automatically squeezing out. If you have a handle, you're not automatically squeezing out.
But even if theoretically the baby wipes had a handle, the whole reason you use it is because you want the stuff that's in the baby wipe. That's the cleaning.
It's absorbed in the towel, or that's lying on top of the towel even.
It's not. I mean,
you take a baby wipe.
Yeah.
Without rubbing it.
It's damp.
It's damp automatically.
If you actually hold it in your hands, you're not doing any squeezing.
So you're getting wet, and that's good enough for you. You don't need more water than that.
Right, but that's not squeezing.
It's not squeezing. It's mutter. So what's the issue of a baby wipe? When you're rubbing it against the baby, so now when you're rubbing it, you can't do it unless you're squeezing.
Right.
Not that you need to squeeze it. Automatically, when you're squeezing it, water is coming out. That's a svoig. That's mamash a svoig.
If you had a baby wipe with a handle on it, then maybe you're talking now that maybe it's possible to wipe the baby.
Correct.
You're not squeezing the wipe, you're just squeezing the handle, and now you can maybe be careful.
Correct.
Maybe it won't come out.
Right.
It's not a vadai that it will.
Right. That would be the head of svoig. If you have a base yard.
They just invented now a sponge in the Machon in Yerushalayim that you can use for Shabbos.
It says.
I don't really understand it.
What, to explain the Ravid?
No, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know Chazanish. I don't sound Chazanish.
So it's by now with doors opening.
Yeah, I don't sound Chazanish.
Rabbi Berman brought one back home.
Yeah, and Steve Cotton involved, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and getting back to baby wipes, there's another shayla. I won't go into the whole shayla of baby wipes, the matilim and the oisrim, but there's another thing you have to know, that baby wipes is different than a svoig, and it's different than anything else in halacha because it's disposables. There's no kibbutz on a disposable. Something you throw out, there's no issa kibbutz. It's not meant, we'll see in Shin Beis, kibbutz is only something that's cleanable. It's meant to be clean.
Right.
You soak it in water, you're cleaning it. Something that you don't clean, paper towel which you don't clean, you never put a paper towel in the washing machine, it's meant to be thrown out, it's not shaykh kibbutz on a paper towel.
But there is still shaykh schita.
What type of schita is a shaykh? What type of schita is shaykh on a baby wipe? Is it the schita of libun, or is it the schita of mefarek?
Well, it's not libun.
Sure, not libun.
So it's not libun because it's not shaykh libun on a baby wipe. Baby wipe is you want the water. You do want the water.
You do. That's the whole water.
You want the water out.
You want it on the baby's body.
Even though you throw it out, but one thing, you want the water on it. So the question is, do you need the water that's in the baby wipe or not? Can I manage without that water? So it's a Semicha. I don't need it. We'll see in Sifyut Ches.
How do you say it's not Michel? Otherwise you wouldn't be using it.
No, but you don't need the extra water. You don't need the extra water.
Not the one that's inside.
I need the water that's on the surface. The extra water inside I don't need. That's where the material come from for baby wipes. Yeah, that's what that thing brings down. No, that's the material of baby wipes.
He says mostly.
Maybe in the Hebrew he brought down.
Yeah. In English it says it'd be hard to find a header.
Okay.
In English.
Yeah, and Issa won't be as libun. Issa will be as mefarek.
Yeah, for sure.
Issa will be as mefarek. Won't be as libun because there's no libun here. You don't wash a baby wipe.
Right.
What about recycling them? Like they go to recycling, they're processed.
It's not called kibbutz. It's not called kibbutz. It's not called kibbutz. They're destroying it more than they destroy it and they remake it. It's not. They're not washing out the baby wipe itself. You don't do kibbutz on it.
So what's the normative halacha on that? Do people?
Most persons are machmir baby wipes. Yeah, most persons are machmir baby wipes. So they say, if you don't squeeze it, you don't push hard, but it's very hard to mat like that.
So what's the basis of the making it usher then if you're not...
Because of mefarek.
Oh.
Because you want the water, not because of libur.
Okay.
Because the other schita of dash.
Right.
We said the schita of dash, the schita of libur.
So in a case, so let's say you're looking after someone, it's not a baby, right?
Right.
So you're looking after someone, and because, after they've been to the washroom or whatever, and because it's covered a brias, you need something that's wet. So there are eitzes. There's eitzes that you put the water on and you wipe it off. You don't absorb it in the smata itself. There are other eitzes. Yeah, it's covered brias. There's the people that matter to the baby wipe. You have to. But there are eitzes today. You can spit something on and then you wipe it off. They have those like. What's called again? The creams. Not creams even. They're like baby lotions. Baby lotions is also very usable to clean. Put on the baby and then you take a paper towel, you wipe it off. There's no schita on that. So it's just how to clean without a baby wipe. Alright, I saw they're going to open with toothbrushes and everything, and everyone has to ask their local competent Orthodox rabbi. I'm not going to go into all the shilas of toothbrushes and what's to be done over the other shilas.
Toothbrush is the big one.
Yeah, the toothbrushes. Toothbrushes is a question of it's schita b'chal.
We're going to do hair?
We'll get to that later on. We'll get to hair in the Rabbi brings it down at the end of Sifyut Ches. We'll get to hair in a second. I'm assuming you want to know because of the mikveh Shabbos morning.
Of course.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I know, I see the office going to the mikveh.
Says the Chabavite, let's see Sifyut Ches. I guess we'll just start it and we'll see how much we get through. So now, at Sifyut Ches, we're talking about a new problem of Psikresha de la Nichele. Now, there's a small hakdama of Psikresha. Psikresha means when I'm doing something and something is happening for sure. Psikresha means you're cutting off the head of a chicken. But it's not going to die. Of course it's going to die. So you want the head. So I'm just taking the head. It happens to be it's going to die. What should I do? That's called psikresha for the yams. You chop off the head. It's not going to die. I'm sure it's going to die. So really, I'm einim mischaven. I don't have a mind to kill the chicken. I don't need that. I want the head. It's einim mischaven. Einim mischaven is a machloikis. It's mutter also on Shabbos. But with the psikresha, everybody agrees it's also. Even if Shimon who holds that einim mischaven is mutter, but if it's a psikresha, it's also. Why? Because that's not called a nishmas. That's called I'm doing that malacha. I cannot do it without it. So if someone we'll see this halacha is talking about someone has a stuffer for a barrel of wine, and he's squeezing it, pushes it in, and it's automatically the wine's going to come out. So you have like a stick. At the end of the stick there's like a shmata. You stick it into the barrel. So what's going to happen is the shmata is full of wine because it's the cork for the barrel. So when you're sticking it back in, automatically they're squeezing the wine out. Now this is mefarek, not libum. This is mefarek. It's wine. The wine's coming out. So now here there's a heter of psikreisha de nichalei, meaning.
Sorry, you said before psikreisha the kula alma is aser. Did you mean nichalei or lo nichalei? Nichalei.
Right.
Psikreisha de nichalei is aser.
Everybody's kula alma.
Everybody's psikreisha de nichalei is aser.
And lo nichalei.
We'll see in a second. That's what we'll get to now. So psikreisha de nichalei, that means you want it. By a chicken, you want it, that should die, otherwise you're not going to eat it. The psikreisha de nichalei, everyone agrees is aser. You have a new type of psikreisha. For example, over here, I'm pushing the cork into the bottle, and we're squeezing out the wine from the shmata. So it depends. If that wine is going to ibud, it's falling out, it's going the outside of the barrel, and it's falling on the floor, it's a psikreisha. I'm pushing it in, it's automatically the wine's going to be nischat from the shmata. But the psikreisha de nichalei, I don't want it. Why don't I want it? Because I don't want the wine to go to ibud. I would much rather have the wine staying inside the shmata and go back into the barrel like I use the wine. I don't want to lose the wine. That's called a psikreisha de nichalei. I don't want it to happen. Psikreisha de nichalei is a big machlokes if it's mutter or aser. So everyone agrees with the raisa of psikreisha de nichalei is not a problem. If you go like Reb Shimon that says Einim Eschavin, it's all in Reb Shimon who holds that Einim Eschavin is okay. So the psikreisha de nichalei, everyone agrees with the raisa, it's mutter. It's not a problem. The question is, Issa de Rabbanan, is there an Issa de Rabbanan by psikreisha de nichalei? And that's the Aruch, Tosis brings down over there in Ksubis, that the Aruch holds of psikreisha de nichalei is mutter. You're allowed to do lechatchila. And the Rishonim argue in the Aruch, and they've become rayas, that even though it's psikreisha de nichalei, it's still an Issa de Rabbanan. But the Rabbanan it's also to do it. So that's the Sif Yud Ches. So let's see the side. Chavis, shepakaku b'kak shal pishtan, Lichtenstein nekev shebedefna, a barrel which you have a pekaka cork of pishtan to close up the hole of the side. Shemetziyim b'hayayim, when you take out the wine from it. Yeshmi shemata lahasiroi, take it out. When you pull it, and every time you pull it, you can squeeze out the wine that's in the pishtan, that's in the cork. There shouldn't be a kli under it, because if there's a kli under it, that's already a psikreisha de nichalei. Then you want the wine coming out. It's coming out into your cup, and you want to drink it. The kivish in hand of a schita zu, since you're not having any enough from the schita, have a psikreisha. It's called a psikreisha de nichalei that you don't want. So the brackets here, which is lav dafka from the Ramah, says, Pirish, what does the psikreisha mean? Isser nimshach behechrich midavar ma. The isser is automatically going to come. Hechrich means for sure. K'moya moves, like death, ha-nimshach behechrich me'atozas haroish. Like when you chop off the head of a chicken, for sure it's going to die. That's what it means of psikreisha. So here's la nichalei umutin. So that is the shittas aruch. V'chalku alav amru. And the Rishonim argue in the aruch and they say the afgav la nichalei kivin the psikreisha hu aser. Since the psikreisha it's aser. So that's the machlokes the Mechaber brings down.
We're talking about here deraisa or derabanan?
Derabanan. There's no issa deraisa on a psikreisha. Nichalei.
On a deraisa? So say that again. On a deraisa, everybody.
No, there's no issa deraisa by psikreisha nichalei. A psikreisha nichalei could only be an issa derabanan.
So that's the machlokas, whether or not it's
also with derabanan or not. With deraisa it's mutter. Not an issa deraisa, issa derabanan. We didn't get into that. A psikreisha nichalei, is that also with deraisa? Is that also with deraisa? No. Psikresha de la Nichle is a machloikis if it's also in the Rabbanon or not. Whether it's an Issa de Rabbanon that you're doing.
So there's a secondary, right. There's a secondary machloikis as to what you're doing is the Deraisa or the Rabbanon.
That's something else.
What if initially the whole thing you're doing?
If the whole thing you're doing is only Issa de Rabbanon,
right.
But say Semicha Yadalab, Psikresha de la Nichle, by Issa de Rabbanon, I think you can make it.
Yeah.
Right.
We're talking here Issa de Rabbanon, it's Chita. Of Psikresha de la Nichle, by Issa de Rabbanon, we'll get to it, Mr. Shah.
Okay, so we're talking about here, we're talking about a case of a deraisa.
A case of deraisa is Chita.
Right, and when we say, okay,
Psikresha de la Nichle, the whole Issa is only Issa de Rabbanon. If you look at the Morgan Avram Sivkot Chav Aleph, Psikresha hu the Aser, the Psikresha hu Aser, Ava Chayuva Leka Lekuli Alma. Everyone agrees there's no Issa deraisa. Now, let's see Sivkot Chav. Before we get into the Heter, Heter by the Pkak, we'll get back to that later. Maybe we'll have to do it next week. But over here, that whole din of Psikresha de la Nichle, let's see the Morgan Avram. Sivkot Chav. Psikresha Kosev Rosh Perek Yudzayin the Shabbos. Tafil la Aruch the Spiro the Psikresha de la Nichle Mutter. V'kamokem Mishar Isurim Moide de Aser. So now, what's the reason why the Aruch said that Psikresha de la Nichle is Mutter on Shabbos? Why is it Mutter? What's the Psikresha? It's for sure going to happen. It's sure going to happen, so it's my ma'aser no matter what. So if it's la Nichle, so who cares? Why is that a heter? Why is that a heter by Psikresha la Nichle that it's mutter? So the Rosh wants to say that the heter for Psikresha la Nichle is because of the heter of Malachas Machshavas. It's halacha by Shabbos. That Shabbos is the only Isser Malacha by Shabbos is heter Malachas Machshavas. You want to do that Malacha. There's no Malachas Machshavas. If you don't want to do that Malacha, there's a heter on Shabbos. Now, I'm not going to get the whole story of Malachas Machshavas, that all has to do with this Asik, and maybe we'll get into that a different time. But the Rosh says that the Psikresha de la Nichle of the Aruch is mutter only by Shabbos. If you have a Psikresha de la Nichle in other Isurim, and the example they give is that you're not allowed to be Mezalef, you're allowed to be Mezalef Yayin al Gabei Mizbeach, meaning there's a fire on the Mizbeach that's burning. If someone gives a Yayin as a Nadava, so you have to pour it onto the Eish of the Mizbeach. The problem is, if you pour it onto the fire of the Mizbeach, you're going to put out the fire. You're going to put out the fire. And the law is, you're not allowed to put out, you're not allowed to put out the fire of the Mizbeach. So what I'm doing is I'm pouring the wine onto the fire of the Mizbeach, and it's a psikresha that the fire is going to go out. So why is it mutter? Or is it mutter? So there it's lo nichle. It's a psikresha lo nichle. You don't want the fire to go out. You want the fire to stay. So the question is the Aruch matter in that case when you mizalef yayin al gabi mizbeach b'shar yisurim. So the Rosh says, Perek Yudzayin the Shabbos, Afil la Aruch the Spiro the psikresha la nichle mutter mekamokem b'shar yisurim moide the aser. He's masking b'shar yisurim that's aser. Why? What's his raya? Mid the Parach so Perek Yudzayin v'ochem v'ochem mechaber. You're putting out the fire. Ayin shah right? That's what the Gemara says. V'hik shah goyim. The my maybe raya me'amakshin. What's the raya for the makshin? They're not put out the fire. The maskina the l'pshimin shari. We hold the maskana that according to l'pshimin it is mutter. Because l'pshimin holds ein mischaven is mutter. Ayat psikresha, it must be because the psikresha la nichelei, and that's why l'pshimin is matter. The Gemara Perek Haboyne Ma'aseh Rosh Raya Mizel Divrei Aruch. Ayin Shamash Atiritz. Lafini is that Atiritz Klum. So Rosh Ma'aseh Raya Minei. The Rosh does bring a good raya from there. Shema Minah the Spirulei the After Cholim Isurim Amrin and Kain. Even all Isurim we say the Allah of Psikresha la Nichelei. For Li Nir Li Yashiv the Hakaimel and the Lasot Kishmul. So the Magen Avraham says, I'm going to answer that Gemara over there. We don't pass on like Shmuel, K'mo Shchotz Medamba, Periktes Ayin, Mi Ma'aser Kabonis, Ech Lemuchach V'Monachis, V'Kosher. Long V'emes like Hamel come and say, why don't we pass on like Shmuel? But so I remember Shum, Kushis HaMakshin, the Mechaber, Afagav Tav Psikresha L'Nichelei, V'Shari L'Dasa Aruch, V'kamokim dafka gabi Shabbos to melaches machshavas asur atayra. Al v'shari yisurim asur. Other yisurim is also. That's why we have a good raya with it, not like Shmuel. But the chaper ma'isirayim ha'makshin. But that's a place of the mind of any life situation. So I went through it quickly. I was going to tell you basically what he's saying over here is the Rosh says that the halacha of secretion like Michel is only a din in Shabbos. It's not a din in other malachas, other isurim. Only by Shabbos. The Birchas HaZevach wants to argue and say it applies to other malachas also. And the Magen Avraham comes like the Rosh. That only by Shabbos do we have the heter of secretion like Nichele because it's not Melachas Machshavas. By Shari Yisurim, there's no heter of secretion like Nichele. So it comes time to other Yisurim, we'll see it's been Machlekes. We go with the Magen Avraham, there's no heter of secretion like Nichele.
V'nisach hayayin is a mitzvah with the rice.
Yeah.
There's the whole difference.
But Nisach hayayin wasn't on the fire. Nisach hayayin was on the side of the Mizbeach. Here, the double they had to pour onto the fire. It's different. This is not Nisach hayayin. This is a different case, almost Menad of yayin. So that's the Machlekes in the Rishonim, the Gei Shari Surim. But when it gets to us, when it gets Shabbos, is a machlekes to Aruch and other Rishonim, whether you say secretion in the Nichele is mutter or not. Michel brings down both shittis. Michel says, "V'cholko olav amr dafachaf la Nichele, even the secretion who also."
So the case of the carbon that we're talking about is that it's not on Shabbos.
Not on Shabbos. This is a regular. A regular. You're pouring the yayin onto the fire, and the fire is going to go out. Since the secretion of Nichele is a shaila if that's a heter or not over there. Now, it's one important thing to speak out over here before. I guess the rest of the Sifra will leave for next week. Just look in the Bi'alacha, D'lei Nichele. It's Bi'alacha D'lei Nichele, and it's on Kuf Mem Vav.
Yeah, it's at the bottom.
End of the page. D'lei Nichele, Hine, v'yaneinu le'Nichele klal b'haschita. Here, you le'Nichele klal, you don't want to schita at all. Ba'adarab, ha'yiroit shelo yischait, k'haylech le'ibud. Here it's to go to the garbage, the wine. You don't want it to go to the garbage. Av ba'emes afilu rakhecha she'einena klal ba'pa'ula she'nasa al yadoi. Even if you're not having any hanav, v'ein le'shum nafkamina b'zeh. If you don't care, that means, it's not wine. It's not apple juice, let's say, that you don't care, you don't need it. Not anything chashiv. So it's not pshat that you're upset, like Nichele. It's something called like ichbesle, you don't care. That's also called obsecration like Nichele. That's included. So the deraisa obsecration is the Nichele, that you want it. But if it's not a Nichele, whether it's a like Nichele, or whether it's like ichbesle, he doesn't care, either way, that is the machlekes to Rishonim.
Like ichbesle would be the same thing as Harav Ibud?
Correct. Like ichbesle the same thing as Harav Ibud as like Nichele. V'zeh Nichele gam kem secretion like Nichele, kiven tehu ein mechaven la pa'ula, kein achichu atoysis b'Shabbos, the maschal tfeim ha the Shabbos of Gimel Gemara the Ar the Chavre. Toysis is right that secretion like ichbesle is the same thing as secretion like Nichele. So the only time secretion is also is when you want what's coming out of it. Nichele, you need it. But if it's like Nichele or like ichbesle, doesn't make a difference. So, right. That's how Shabbos about obsecration when you open a door on Shabbos and the light goes on, right? So that's obsecration.
So we were talking about, let's say, for example, during the daytime in a fridge on Shabbos.
Right.
The light goes on, but that's light.
So that's obsecration like ichbesle. You don't need the light.
You don't need the light.
You don't need the light.
Harav, you don't keep it, right?
Yeah. But Meister, it's awesome because even obsecration like Nichele, we hold it's awesome.
Because?
We don't pass like the Aruch. This obsecration like Nichele is a machlekes if it's mutter or not. The Aruch says it's mutter, so we shouldn't argue. The Meister we hold, we'll see next week, that we hold we're machmir. Obsecration like Nichele we hold is awesome.
Okay, so that then comes a secondary question on a deraisa or a derabbanan.
Yeah, so by the derabbanan, then maybe it's out the hakol. Yeah, right. That's why you can tell. It's right to do it sometimes. We're not obsecration. So it's a derabbanan. Yeah.
Maybe you can be silent.
Yeah, but that's called Nichele. That's called Nichele, even though it's not Nichele. You don't care the light goes on, but it's like ichbesle. It's still called obsecration like Nichele.
The absence of that.
Fine. Next we will finish off the sif and we'll go weiter.